Hello, and thank you for joining today to learn more about what to expect with direct deliveries from the Food Bank of the Southern Tier. Let's jump right in, shall we? Today, we will cover exactly what the responsibilities are of our partner agencies and programs, as well as us here at the Food Bank, what our inclement weather policy is, and what happens if there is a state of emergency. We'll also go over what piggybacking is, and is it right for your program, and what all needs to be considered. And then we'll go ahead and wrap it up with some high points. So let's start off with what is expected of you as an agency or program. In order to receive a direct-to-door delivery for an agency or a school food center, you must place an order that is at least 1,000 pounds. I know, that sounds like a lot, and it is, but you may be surprised how quickly the pounds add up when you're creating your order. Programs like community partner organizations have their own criteria to meet. Instead of a minimum of pounds, they need a minimum of 15 cases for that direct delivery. We do ask that you assign a volunteer or a staff member to be the one that receives the delivery call or communication from the food bank in the morning. We can call you on the phone, email you, or even send a text. And that person will then spread the word to whoever else needs to know when we will be out there delivering. Our drivers drive big trucks, so they also need big space to pull in or back in, park and unload. And so this is roughly about 40 square foot as a minimum. And then also for the safety of our drivers, your staff and or volunteers, and our clients, please keep the sidewalks and driveways cleared of any obstacles, debris, and then in the colder months, even ice and snow. We have had drivers slip and fall at agencies because the snow or ice wasn't cleared properly, and we just don't want that to happen to anyone. Let's continue here. So you should also designate a safe and accessible space for the driver to drop off the pallets, whether it is on the sidewalk outside or if there is enough clearance, they can go ahead and take it right inside your building. Products must be unloaded from the pallets and dated and then put away as soon as possible. A representative from your program must be present to sign for the delivery. We won't leave your product unaccompanied, just sitting there at your location. So we have to have somebody actually accept the delivery. So basically it's kind of like this. The driver arrives, they'll unload, you sign it, give you invoice or the slip back to the driver, they'll go ahead and head on to the next stop. And it really is your responsibility to make sure that you have all of the cases that you ordered. All of the products are okay. So that means when you're unloading, open the cases up and put them away. It's entirely possible that there might be a can somewhere in the middle of the box that is dented to where it's exposing nastiness to the rest of the product in the case, but you can't see it on the outside. So please remember to open the cases and inspect everything thoroughly. And then reach out to the food bank before the close of business that day if there is something wrong with your delivery. That is a little bit different than previously. It used to be 24 hours, but we really do need to know as soon as possible. So if you're getting your delivery in the morning, unload it, check it over, count it out, contact us by the close of business. Close of business is Monday through Thursday, 4 p.m., Fridays at 1. If they don't get reported, we can't help you. Also, please don't report it to the driver. They're not equipped to be able to take that information and come back. Please email the programs at foodbankst.org email and include the order number, the product number, how many cases were damaged or missing, or whatever the issue is. Give us as much information as possible. And then that way we can better help you in resolving the situation. All right, let's take a look at the food bank responsibilities. I know, I know, I know. It doesn't really seem fair, does it, that you all as partners had those last two slides of previous responsibilities. And then there's this slide with only two. I promise it does all shake out in the end when we're talking about our partnership and responsibilities and who does what. So on the day of your delivery, someone from the food bank will notify your agency or program. It's typically a 15 to 30-minute window that the driver projects based on his other deliveries that he has that day. And those times vary depending on weather, if there's a DOT stop, and also whether or not the stop before yours has a lot of pallets to unload, because that can also take time. And then the other thing that we do make sure that we do and are responsible for is getting your order to you. So the warehouse and delivery staff really do strive to serve agencies and programs in the most efficient manner possible. Please go ahead and wait for someone from the food bank to contact you with that projected delivery window before you call us asking like, where's the driver, what time are they expected. Typically morning calls are done by 8:15 to 8:30. On occasion, there will be a reload, which causes the driver to actually leave after 9 o'clock. And if you haven't heard from us by 9, go ahead and give us a holler. I think that's more than fair. Also, it is incredibly important that we have the correct contact information for the person who's responsible for receiving that delivery call. If we don't have a current person or a current number, that information is not going to get to your program. So please keep us updated on that. You really don't want to have your volunteers standing around all day waiting for us to arrive, or us or not being there when we do arrive. Yours and their time is extremely valuable, and we need to honor that. And then lastly, enjoy our drivers, because they really do enjoy coming out and seeing your sites, and we really encourage the strong relationship and the jovialness to your interactions with our drivers. It is the highlight of their day. Okay, all right now. So we all live, work, exist in the lovely state of New York and are no strangers to snow days. Our kiddos wish for them and then we turn around and dread them. But what this means for you and your delivery is that it might get delayed or even canceled for that day if the weather is really expected to be particularly nasty and or dangerous. So two things that may trigger these responses of delays or closures are the schools in your county might be closed due to the weather, and or the schools in Chemung County, specifically Elmira City School District where the food bank is located. If any of those close, it could impact whether or not your delivery is delayed or canceled. But don't worry too much. You should always have enough food on hand so that your program can afford to miss a delivery day and connect with you on what you want us to do with your order. Usually we will move it to the following week. We might cancel it. And sometimes we even have an alternate delivery day set up to make sure that we can get your order to you as soon as possible. But that's not always the case. And part of our state of emergency policy and around these snow policies is if we do move your order to a different day, let's say we move it to the following week and you still want to add to your order, the same order submission rules apply. And we ask that you submit a new order with confirmation from food bank staff that it's okay to do so. Make sure, because those loads tend to be a little bit larger because it's not just your orders that are moving to the following week. They're getting added to the existing orders for that week. So make sure that there's room in the truck. So contact the food bank to say, hey, can I add to my order? And then make sure you do it 2 business days by 10 a.m. to stay within the bounds of our policy. Because if it's after 10 a.m., we really just won't have enough time to add on to your order and get it out to you. And then last but not least, please let all of your volunteers and staff know about any of these policies, all of these policies. People should be aware of what is expected of you and what is expected of us. Packing is a fun word and that we use here at the food bank to refer to an agency's order that is being delivered not to their site, but to another agency's site. While this is not ideal for all agencies and programs and also requires an extra signature on your contract ahead of time, it also requires more coordination on the part of the agency to make it work. It is a wonderful fix for agencies who don't need as much product for their deliveries and typically only need a few hundred pounds as opposed to the 1,000 pounds. So how this works is, first, you must get permission from the agency where the food's going to be delivered to, that host agency as we call it, and they will have to sign your annual agreement. You must contact that host agency prior to placing each order. And this is to ensure that the host agency also has an order going out that day. And now, since you're both sending product to one site, that host agency does not need to meet the 1,000 pound minimum. What they have to do is just meet with your order a combined 1,000 pound minimum. So it's a collective order weight, which is kind of nice. So if you have two sites that may not need the full 1,000 pounds, maybe this is a good little relationship where you can each get what you need. Then the agency must contact the host agency on the delivery day to find out the delivery time. Food Bank does not always contact the smaller order agency. I think that makes sense. We pretty much only contact the site where it's being delivered. So make sure to contact and find out what time we're expected to show up. And have someone there ready to receive your delivery and sign the invoices. Please ensure that your agency's own order meets the minimum 200 pound requirement for it to be a piggyback order. And then you will have to transport that food immediately to your site. If for some reason you cannot get to the host agency for a delivery and cannot pick it up, contact them as soon as possible, and maybe they can hold your product temporarily until you can get there. Now, your agency isn't the only one with the responsibilities around piggybacking deliveries. The host agency also has some responsibilities. They are responsible for ensuring a safe and adequate space for our driver to pull in, drop the load, and get back out of there, as outlined previously in this recording. And then they also assume responsibility for another agency's food. And that's pretty big, which is why we leave it to their own discretion. It is up to them to say yes or no. We do not require them to say yes. So let's go ahead and do a quick recap. We'll call you to let you know when to expect our driver. If there's something wrong with your order because you're going to count the cases and open the cases, please contact the food bank by close of business. And lastly, we really want to reiterate how important safety for everyone is. So make sure everybody at your site is aware to keep things neat, clean, and organized, and make sure all of the driveways and sidewalks are removed of ice and snow. We just want to make sure that everybody is always safe. And then all I have to say is that's a wrap, because this is everything that we expect of you and will be doing for deliveries. Thanks.